Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, where we're breaking down all the goals scored in the Europa League. And today, it's Manchester United versus Athletic Club. And before we get into the goals and the breakdowns, I just want to sort of talk a little bit about the final that's going to happen, because I think it's very important. Because one team isn't going to win. There can only be one winner. And whoever loses, it's going to be absolute catastrophe. I think there's more riding on this final of the Europa League than there's been for a final for a very long time, whether it's Champions League or, whatever it is. Because chances are, if you're in the Champions League final, you're probably quite high up in your league and you're going to be back in the Champions League next year. But the ramifications that it has on both teams is huge because they're both terrible. And this is what I'm going to come along to, this point right here on this counter-attack here from Athletic Club, about when this happens in the final, because it will, how Manchester United slow the ball down, which they don't, and how exposed that they are when a player picks the ball up and starts running in the midfield. Now, this is where he is. Look, I'm just going to move it forward, obviously, because I can't just let it play. Here we are, again, with him running forward. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because this is Athletic Club. And they've done well. They haven't conceded. I think, the defensive record stands for itself this season. But Tottenham aren't as naive as this. Tottenham won't just take a shot from outside of the box. They will create a clear goal scoring opportunity when you allow them to run at you for this amount of time, not put any pressure on the ball, and just sort of do anything to really stop them. And this is going to happen in the final. I'm calling it right now. Like, all the other things that I call about Manchester United, which I'm always right about, when I was telling how Onana as a goalkeeper is technically flawed and he should never have been scouted at, what was he, 40 million. His feet work are wrong. There's everything about him, he's technically wrong as a goalkeeper, but we're going to get onto him in a little bit. But let's just keep watching. This here is the first time a Man United player gets in front of the ball. Bearing in mind, players run from about here all the way down the field to about here. Now, if that's happening with the Spursy, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be in lots of trouble. So all of it, Bump beats that guy, runs in, has a shot. Well, that's naivety. Spursy players aren't going to run in and have a shot. They're going to create a proper goal-scoring opportunity, and you're going to give it to them. And if they play like that in the final and be that open through the midfield all the way through, they're going to have a lot of problems because Spurs will absolutely batter them if that happens. But let's move it on to a couple of the goals. Now, first off, this is Harry Maguire, who's, he's still Harry Maguire. He's still got a mistake in him. Now, this is more telling to me because, of course, your technically flawed goalkeeper right here, which I've been pointing out, is completely in the wrong situation. So Maguire's looking at him there going, well, I can't pass it to him because he's actually running towards me. Instead of standing still to receive a pass, he's running towards me for some reason. So watch this as it goes. Now he's backing away from me and he's not there, so I can't really pass him, can't trust him. That's the worrying sign to me. It's not that Harry Maguire makes the mistake. It's the fact that, look, now his goalkeeper's set to receive a pass after backtracking and almost falling over. He refuses to pass it to him. Instead, he tries to bend a bendy ball round here. So there's just one thing in football, right? If you want to be a good footballer, you don't do this. If you think that's the line of sight right there, bump, and you're looking that way, right? You don't play balls that are in those ranges there. You only play them in those ranges there. He doesn't. Watch this angle. When he plays it, bump, do you see it? It's gone past there. Yeah. The problem is when you're past there, now this is the reason why certain players are better than others, right? So if we draw that line again, okay, can you see he's passed it into these two zones? Now there's a reason for this. You can't see there. There's this thing about your peripheral vision, all right? When you put your hands up, there's a certain point where you can't see your hands, and you're going to see that's about exactly where it is where I drew those two lines. There's certain players in the world that have fantastic vision because they can see their hands further and further away. You can train your eyes and your peripheral vision to get better, by the way. It's a really cool training technique. I'll have to do a video about it. Can't even remember talking. Something I learned about 15 years ago. And there's a big hum and hoo-ha about it. And they never really sort of tell you the truth about anything in media or football or anything. Because it was about David Beckham. They did an eye test. And they realised his peripheral vision was much wider than the average person, so he can see a pass over there and he's looking dead straight, but he still can actually see and pick the player out over there. And that's one of the reasons why some footballers make the game look easy, because they're looking at one thing and spotting a billion others. He's broken that little rule where you're in your little vision, your vision tunnel, and he's passed it outside of there because you don't know what's coming. Classic example, that's what's happening. You know what I was just talking about putting pressure on the ball when the ball's in the midfield area? Right there, which you can't really do here because now you're 1v1 and you're in a heap of trouble if you do put pressure on. But look at the midfield area. You've got United players back here defending, but as a team and as a structure, there isn't anybody here. Now, if this is a Spursy team or another Premier League team, which we'll probably look at West Ham on the weekend, they're gonna have more composure in that final third and not just waste the opportunity. I know they don't; they score here, but they don't initially, and that's the important part. Look, as he takes the ball, he has a little bit of a look. He doesn't dink the ball over there. Instead, he has a shot, and this shot is completely and utterly naive because he could just dip his shoulder, run into the space, and try to deliver. All right. And this is what I'm talking about, the naivety of Athletic Club, which you're not going to get against a decent Premier League side. Like any mid-table Premier League side isn't going to just waste this opportunity and smash the ball into a defender there. Just not going to do it. Again, look at the second ball pickups. That's what you want to look at. Is your team organised and structured? Even though you're on that transition, you still have to have your players in areas where you're going to win that second ball. And it's always down the middle of the field. That's a great line. Oh my God, I'm getting better at drawing. Down the middle of the field, you definitely want your spine is not there. What I do think is hilarious is his mate's just had a go and he was rubbish and smashed it into a defender and he's gone, nah, watch this, mate. And he hits this and it's a good shot. But the keeper should 100% save this. And again, I'm going to show you how bad his technical ability is and the fact that no one's called this out. And you're going to find a bunch of pundits this week and go, oh, look, he's got two hands doing it. I've been saying it all season. I've been talking about his footwork all season. You're months behind, boys, because you don't really know anything about football. Bang, in it goes, and that should be saved. Let me show you what. When you jump up with both hands, what happens is you restrict the distance you can travel with your arms right there. This arm here needs to be the only one going, and you're going to get to about there. Okay, try it yourself. Put this arm back, stretch, and then go like that, and you're going to see how far you're going to go instead of you're doing two hands. Okay, you're going to go much further with a hand over your top. Guess what? Because everyone's been doing this for 50 years in football. Everybody knows about it. It's not like it's a new thing. It's always been the way. The other problem he's got is his leap, his technical leap, the way he's jumped off the ground isn't sufficient for him to get actual proper height on himself again, because he's just rubbish technically. He really is. This should never go in, but it does. Dumph, and he's flapping. Like, your hand underneath you shouldn't be the furthest hand forward. It should always be the one over the top. It's just awful. But yeah, 40 million, great scouting. And if you don't believe that there's backhanders to agents and little things going on behind the scenes in football, you're so naive. That's how you end up with a goalkeeper like that at Manchester United. I do want to talk about this little chip dink that's completely and utterly wrong. And I probably brought it up before. I can remember arguing on, I can't remember what, it might be an A Pro license, whatever license, I can't remember what it was, years ago. And the guy, the idiot teaching the course didn't know anything about football. And he posed a question about doing step overs and flicks and tricks and all that sort of stuff. He says, "Where do you want to do that on the field?" And goes through everybody, and everyone gives their opinions, and basically they're all saying in the final third, because if you lose the ball, you don't lose the ball. And I asked a simple question: how old is the player? And he goes, "Oh, let's just say he's 18 to 20. Do it wherever he wants." And he's like, "No, you'll lose the game." No, he's 18 to 20. I want him to understand that where he does it, he might be world class. And I've stopped him doing world class things because I want him to do a specific thing, and now I can't see his genius because I've told him that he can only do things in the way in the box and where. Has he made a mistake? Yeah, he probably should have scored, but he's going to remember this for the rest of his life, right? And he's going to develop and learn from this, right? And that's how good players or younger players get so much better. You allow them to make these mistakes. You don't crucify them for them. You go, what did you learn? Well, I probably could have gone round the keeper. I need to make my chip better. And it'll give you 100 reasons why it'll be better, and he'll forever think about them. I can remember my first game playing properly, and I scored 2 goals, and I still missed the third hat-trick because I hit it with the outside of my right instead of the inside of my left and passing the ball in the goal. He will remember that, and that's how you develop. That's how you learn, and you have to let them make mistakes and support them when they do. Does it mean sometimes you might miss out on a cup final because of it? Yeah. But that's how you make good players. You have to take the good with the bad. And as bad as this is, you know what? Boomf. Next time, he's going to learn from it. 100% going to learn from it. They don't score from it, but you know I'm going to comment on it. Defending high, leaving the space in behind. There's the ball. You can see the runners already happening. Sneaking in 2v1 on the back. He gets the header, drops it across. The only issue they've Athletic Club's got is they've got 1, 2, 3 players here. Instead of running in, when they see him running in, they all need to be busting in for when he heads that ball across for the tap in. And if they did, this would be a different outcome. Boom, there goes the ball. There's the little bit of tap in and going across. 1, 2, 3. Neither of them ran in and actually put pressure in the middle of that field. Because when that header goes, if they had, this would have been a goal. And that high line, defending the 18-yard box, allowing the space for them to play the ball in again. An Athletic Club, they're not the best team in the world. They're not a Champions League level team. They don't have great ball path players. And they still exposed the space at the back. Boom, there's the header. That should have been a goal with someone crashing in, and what should have been one of these players right here. As soon as I've paused this and stopped this, you're going to see exactly where the goal's going to score from. You know, I always talk about those tiny little bits of space in the back. That's where the space is right there. You can see because one player has stepped forward, right? Now, because he stepped forward, and remember, he's running full pace here. So this is happening fast. So when I'm saying this is this quick. But look at his stance. He's bridging himself to do nothing really. He has to make a decision. Either hold that line. Oh, that's a great line. Hold that line. Hold your space. Or go and tackle the ball. He doesn't do either. So as it runs there, look, bump, bump, bump. They're all shadowing, going, and no one actually tackles the ball. Do we see that? Let's put that back ever so slightly. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. These are the only 2 that can tackle him. 1, 2, he can't, never could, even though he's running with him. And neither of these 2 players step forward until both of them do. And it's a great turn by Mason Mount here, to be honest. It's a tidy goal. Like, both these defenders open that space by stepping forward for him, but he's still got to finish it. He's still got to do a little good turn. Watch, as he steps forward, dum, dum, dum. Do you see how they're both trying to go for the ball? And it's all too late. This little dinky pass goes in, and he just has a little bit of a turn. Boom. Off he goes, takes them all out because they were just focused on the wrong way. Instead of trying to step forward and win the ball or step back and take that space away, none of that happens. Great little turn, takes out 3 players, and honestly, it's a tidy finish. Bosh, because he's got technical ability. He can do that. Just can't actually stay fit because he's very, very weak. Just want to show you this as well because this should have been another goal from Athletic Club. Poor defending here from Man United. 1, 2, going 1, 2. Simple 2v2, okay? Easy. This is what you do in training all day long. One person pressures the ball. As soon as you pressure the ball, bump, 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 your teammate backs you up and covers for you, so no one can beat you. Instead, his teammate is doing nothing because he's irrelevant, right? He's absolutely irrelevant until he has the ball. Okay, and why that's important is because you want to put this pressure on the ball and you really want to cover the space here, so you just drop off because as this his momentum is going forward like this. Okay, so if the ball gets past to him, he can carry on and going and you're just still here backing up. Okay, you don't want to be there on the off chance that maybe he passes the ball, maybe he doesn't. Soon as that kind of little situation's over, you just kind of back off, get back in your shape, and just let him have the ball. 2v1, because your guy on the one is the one applying the pressure. But if you stand there and he does that, all that happens is bump, you're both beaten. Now you both look stupid. And in that little space there, by the way, you also don't have to drop off if one of your defenders comes in and covers. I'm just talking from this 2v2 situation here, not 2v2 plus anyone else that's going to come and join you, okay? So I'm just talking about that isolated 2v2, not adding any other player to cover that backup space. I'm just assuming they're not going to, which they really should have and made it much, much easier. The ball's fired across way too easy, and he's just missed. Should have been another goal. This is quick and easy, though. It's a Casemiro header. And I'll tell you, right, so if you want to watch what Casemiro does, he's very interesting when he's on set pieces and he's defending these sort of, attacking these sort of things. A lot of the time, he's not actually looking to try to score. He's looking for a flick on, and he's looking to put the flick on in a back post dangerous situation. And the amount of times he's done that and somebody else has scored, or his head has actually just gone in. Here, he doesn't actually head the ball. It hits him kind of like on the back, about that sort of area there. He's just really trying to flick the ball on. Look, have a little look. Duff, he's just trying to flick it on. If it goes in, it goes in, but he's just trying to flick it and get that first header. And he's done this about 4 or 5 times so far this season when he's been on that front post and he's got a flick, and I think about 2 or 3 of them have gone. Here we are, little flick on the back here. I want to show you something else actually, because it's something I didn't bring up about the defending on this. Let me just go. As this ball's come in, Casemiro's taking a step, right? He was about there and he stepped forward to about there. But you cannot have 1, 2 players like that with 1, 2 players like that. That basically means neither of you two are marking these two whatsoever. They're allowed to do what they want. One of you needs to be in between these two here doing something, and one behind them here, because then you've got one in front here, one in the middle, and one behind. You can't have 2 of their players there and 2 of your players here, and these two think that they're marking these 2 over here, which is exactly what's going on. And then shocked that United have scored a goal from it. Yeah. But there we go. So you know that situation that I was talking about right at the start of all of this, where if you're playing against a decent Premier League side, when you're allowed to walk down the middle of the field, and not even a decent one, just an average Premier League side, and you're allowed to walk all the way down the middle of the field with the football, they won't take a shot from outside the box, even though, I'm not talking, the one that they wasted, the chance they wasted that I showed you at the start, they'll create a good opportunity from it. They won't be wasteful, right? Speaking of Spurs, they won't be wasteful. Neither were United, and that's where this goal comes from, doing the exact thing that I talked about. You saw where he started running with the ball from, all the way back on the 18-yard line, running all the way to here, still no pressure on the ball. Now, I want to tell you, I used to like my defenders doing this, but it was only when they were in trouble, when they were outnumbered, or there was someone that couldn't do it. So, for instance, my 2 centre-backs, I wouldn't allow, but my left-back, I'd say, go get the ball, right? Someone has to put pressure, but I want my 2 centre-backs there. You can't afford to hold your shape over here, because if you can win the ball, over here, 10 yards ago or 15 yards ago, it's much, much easier than us trying to tackle him here, or here, or here, or here. And if you do slow him down, it gives us a chance for all these midfielders to come running back. But if we all just run away from him, he just gets to carry on. And now this is what I'm talking about, a little bit of craft and guile. Every Premier League will have this. Athletic Club didn't. That's why they were taking those silly shots. There's been no pressure on the ball yet. Remember, since the halfway line. Now a little ball in, ball down here, little overlapping run. Off he goes to the corner. And shockingly, a Manchester United player decides to cross the ball and not just smash it at the goal. Now, Rasmus Højlund gets a goal here, but I'm going to show you body language, and I'm not going to say anything. I just want you to watch his body language. You're going to make a decision on what you think, and then I'm going to tell you what is actually going on with his body language. To the byline, clear cut back, bump, tap in, goal. Right, I'm going to show you his body language first, and then I'm going to talk about it, because this is very important. Just move myself out of the way. Watch this as it comes in. Watch. Here's the ball. By the way, nutmegs a defender. It's shocking to me how many times this happens. And the reason why is because you're always going to move your legs forward. There's this little really stupid double kick. Kick the ball from your left foot to your right foot and you'll nutmeg, or right foot to your left foot, and you can always nutmeg players. It's really interesting. It's it's a thing about how the body moves. Very interesting. It's good fun. But go straight through here. Watch his body language. One. Did you see that? I'm going to show you that again. Look at the technical way he's hitting the ball. This is the part we're looking at. I actually kind of want to move. I want to get myself out of the way completely so you can just watch it better, because it is important of how the ball goes in the goal. All of this is important. We see that? That's a player with absolutely no confidence. He knew nothing about that. That hit him. He reacted, and he kind of scuff hit it into the goal. Right? Didn't smash it into the goal, didn't pass it into the goal, he scuff hit it into the goal. We can tell because of the spin on the ball and the way the ball's come off his foot and the technique that he's done right there. It's kind of it's a panic touch and it's gone in. I'm going to play it back, and now you watch and see if you can see what I'm talking about. Here we go. It's a panic touch with no confidence. Here we go. Dumph. And in it goes. Yeah. No confidence in that at all. No good technique in that at all. He's standing on the foot, on the same foot he's hitting the ball with. It's just a panic touch. It's not really good and confident at all. And unfortunately, that's a player that is so surprised that his teammates have crossed the ball. He's panicked and put it into the goal. got it in the goal. Well done. Well deserved, because I think the kid, he runs a little bit too hard and doesn't get anywhere near the service he should to develop into a footballer. But you know what? That to me would be really worrying as a coach if I saw that. That would mean that we are letting this kiddie down. We need to be doing so many other different things, like, because he's shocked that the ball's even come across to him. Absolutely shock, panic. But on the plus side, he's in the right place at the right time. That when the cross comes in, he doesn't have to do anything. It just hits him. He doesn't even know about it, and it goes in the goal. Thumbs up to him for that, because you know what? All the other things I can teach you, being in the right place at the right time, it's very difficult. Let's move it on. Now, this is just poor goalkeeping. I get it. You're losing 6 bazillion one on aggregate, and you're just trying to want to hoof the ball down the field. But I'm going to show you from another angle what I think that goes on with this player in his head, and see whether or not that you agree as well. Now, there's still a lot to do here, because when this is played, Bomph received it, still a lot to do. Now, hitting the target from here, quite honestly, isn't a difficult thing. It's not. But hitting the target from here, when you haven't played a lot of football and you're in Old Trafford with 60, 70,000 people watching you, is a different story than hitting the target, just going out onto the field, putting the ball down and smashing it into the top corner from there, right? It's completely different. There, receives the ball and he's smashing. Decent technique. Keeper's beaten. But I want to show you from the other angle, and I want to see if you think, because I haven't watched this keeper enough, so I don't know how he plays week in, week out. So I can't make a real quick judgment call. But this is what I'm seeing from what to me, he's trying to be too clever. He's trying to bend the ball into there, and it gets picked off. Watch what he's doing. Watch his technique as he goes to hit it. Do you see? Dumph. Do you see he tries to bend it, curl it a little bit, and then run back, trying to be a little bit too clever? Oh, I can play that little ball there. No, and he gets caught out. That is a keeper that's, I don't know, a little bit too overconfident. Bearing in mind you're losing, 5-1 at the time, I think, so he's probably not that bothered. But, I mean, come on, keeper. You can't be doing that. You can't be trying to thread a ball through the eye of a needle against Manchester United at Old Trafford. I mean, there's a couple of little caveats there that you've got to have a real think about when you're trying to score a goal. You might just want to put it down the field a little bit to score a goal. I think he's just got that way too wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you're still here, I love you loads, and I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.